The battle between the state prosecutor and the defense for Bryan Kohberger and the Bryan Kohberger case are battling it out to find out where the venue of the trial will be held. Bill Thompson wants to maintain this trial in Moscow in the interest of justice, while the defense wants to move it all the way to Boise, Idaho. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work. We will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims. Hey guys, Bullhorn Betty here. It's nice to see you. I'm still a little under the weather, but I have some updates on the Bryan Kohberger case, and it still seems like the battle continues between the state prosecutor and the defense in the Bryan Kohberger case on where the trial is going to be in the summer 2025. So the Idaho prosecutors have formally objected to the change of venue, basically. They want to keep the trial in Latah County in the interest of justice, so they say, where the actual slayings took place. It's nice to see everybody this afternoon. Just trying to get updated on this. The Bryan Kohberger case. You guys remember Bryan Kohberger. Bryan Kohberger, he was accused of killing, unaliving 4 University of Idaho students on the outskirts of the University of Idaho campus. It was at 1122 King Road. And these girls were, it was 2 girls in the house, but both of them had friends over that night, Kaylee Gonzalez and Ethan Chapin. And it appears that Bryan Kohberger started at the 3rd floor, leading many people to believe, even Howard Bloom, that his primary target was Maddie Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez's best friend since the, I think, 6th grade. You know, so it was pretty interesting. And his dad came and picked him up, and they did this, you know, across the state type of ride that wasn't a direct drive back to Pennsylvania, like the shortest drive. They seemed to take the longest drive, backwoods type of, just a weird drive home, you know. And so it led many people to wonder who Bryan Kohberger was, and then we realized that he had a fascination and some type of ties with BTK. The serial killer had been linked to Bryan Kohberger, and I believe they may even have had some communications. Anyways, BTK's prison cell, was basically, you know, completely searched for any information that he may have with Bryan Kohberger. So this case has been pretty interesting, to say the least. But right now, his defense is trying to move it into. I think they're speaking about like Boise, Idaho. I know there's some other areas that could be chosen besides Boise, but for me, it seems like Boise would be the most likely option for this particular trial. But there's no guarantees, because Bill Thompson is citing that their argument for wanting to change the location is weak. So defendants filed motion to change venue, requesting that the trial in this matter be moved from Latah County, where the offenses took place, to Latah County, some 300 miles away. They wrote, to support his motion, he conducted a survey of prospective jurors in Latah County, Latah County, Canyon County, and Bannock County. The findings of the survey, they argued, have not justified the move. Far from demonstrating that a Latah County jury pool has been uniquely subjected to an utterly corrupted environment, as defendants argue in his brief, the data shows that the pervasive and wide-range coverage of the case throughout the entire state of Ohio has led to high case recognition among survey respondents across all 4 surveyed counties, they continued. Prosecutor also took issue with the defense survey of potential jurors, arguing it does not reflect non-response bias, and that the poll residents were not given an explanation of the survey. The court must ask itself, would an individual who was asked for their opinion about an upcoming jury trial continue a survey if they had no opinions about the upcoming jury trial? And once the survey started, would a prudent, thoughtful, and conscientious person who is reluctant to pass judgment with limited information opine to a stranger whether they believe criminally accused is guilty of murder, the prosecutor wrote. So they're bringing up arguments why it should not be changed out of Latah County and to a different county like Latah County. So I really don't know what to think of it, but 4 beautiful souls were lost for no apparent reason, and many believe this guy did it. And the information in the very first initial probable cause affidavit really did kind of support their findings. None of us were talking about this man. The first time I even thought that there was possibility of a Washington State University student was on December 1st, 2021, 2022, whenever I was out there in front of the Washington State University sign. Chronicles of Olivia and I were actually drinking coffee when I looked above her shoulder, and I seen how close the other university was to Moscow, because it was right out our coffee restaurant window, right there. I had no clue that it was just minutes from the University of Idaho. So I don't know what's going to happen. Typically with high-profile cases like this, the judge sides with the defense in many of these cases, especially it being this high-profile. So I'm kind of, on the fence whether Bill Thompson has argued his position or not, because I have never heard of, outside of Alec Murdaugh, it was hard to hear of a case being tried in the county that the crime happened in. Very limited. And again, it's not all, there are cases that do go forward in the county that they were, but high profile cases. This is a high profile case. I have never seen, or very limited, because like I said, I just gave you an example, Alec Murdaugh, where it was tried in the county that the crime happened in. So it does happen, but it's very seldom. So I almost anticipate this trial actually being moved, most likely to Boise, for trial in 2025. I may be going out there. I have not decided whether I might go out there for a few days. I haven't decided whether I really want to stay out there for the entire trial. But I definitely want to make a debut out there. This is a case that I've covered literally from out the gate. I had an opportunity right along with Chronicles of Olivia to interview Christy, Olivia, and Steve Gonzalez. And this is just, it's a very near, dear case to my heart, because these children, I call them children, they're not children, they were adults, but they were near my sister's age, and my sister had recently graduated within the last few years of a university. So it was very hard trying to cover this case, knowing how terrified a lot of people were, and just wanting to make sure we calmed down a lot of people's fears, because there were still parents halfway across the country that had children going to this university, and the last thing you need is worried mommies and daddies. So one of the first things that we did was just show the amount of law enforcement present in and around the university and all over the campus and anywhere we turned. I thought that would be very soothing to parents that are watching from afar. So it's just one of those things. I do anticipate this venue being changed, honestly. I talked about it literally before I left the last time. I'll have to dig out that video. But I stood in front of Latah County Courthouse and started talking about the potential venue changes in this case. So this is something that I definitely anticipated. And definitely I expect, I'm on the fence, but I'm really leaning toward the defense side. I think they're going to win this argument, just in the interest of justice for Bryan Kohberger. I think they're going to dot their I's and cross their T's and try to, make sure that there are literally no reasons for this man to, or limit the reasons that this man can appeal in the future once he's convicted. If he's convicted, we still have to see what the state has, what do they physically have that they can use that will get into the trial file for the jury to consider. And that's where I think we're going to be at for Bryan Kohberger. But just for anybody that's coming in here, this is related to the Bryan Kohberger case. Today, I guess it's today. I don't remember. I think today's the 13th. Is today the 13th or 14th? So yesterday, the state prosecutor officially filed their objections for the change of venues. And they don't want change of venue. They want to keep this in Latah County. They're saying in an interest of justice, but I have a funny feeling Judge John C. Judge is most likely going to side with the defense on this, because in all fairness, this is a high profile case, and there's very limited high profile cases that I've seen go on in the county that the crime happened in. So I'm very interested in the arguments. Doesn't mean just because I believe this way it's going to be. You never know. The judge may side with the prosecution and keep it right there in Latah County. But I don't think that the area can handle this kind of trial. I don't think that that courthouse can handle this kind of trial. I think it'll be better suited for everything, all the people involved, with it being in a larger courthouse, with a larger courtroom. This is, again, a very high profile case, and there's going to be a lot of media attention and social media attention that is going to be garnered from this trial, and it's going to cause a lot of people to go in person, like me, to the area to cover this trial. So anyways, guys, I hope you're having a great Wednesday. I believe today's Wednesday. Let's hope today's Wednesday. I'm losing track of my days, but God bless each and every one of you. I've been a little under the weather and I'm kind of almost through it right now, and just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about the Bryan Kohberger case. We haven't touched it in a while, and we will be discussing it as it starts getting closer. We have a lot of updates to go on with this, and so we'll see you soon. God bless and take care.